So let's all come to our comfortable seated positions. Sit up nice and tall. I'm going to just try one more thing, and if this asks me to do something else, let's see. There we go. Right? That didn't knock anybody off. It just added me. I'm going to turn it off. I don't think that'll knock anyone off. There we go. Because I like to be able to see all you guys here. There. Ah, back to normal. So let's come into our comfortable seated position. Sit up nice and tall. We'll just start to connect with our breath. Start to follow your breath in and out. Watch the breath as it comes in through the nose, and watch the breath as it flows back out. Take your shoulders up to your ears, float the shoulders back, and then just let them kind of glide down. So you feel your chest lift a little bit, and feel the crown of the head rise up. Relax your jaw, soften your temples. And then we're going to take a big breath in through the nose. Feel the belly fill, the chest rise. And then a big exhale. Draw the navel in and up. So as you exhale, you kind of feel the abdominals contracting. And then let's do that again. Breath in. Fill it up. And then exhale. Now we're going to inhale to the count of 5, and I'll do the counting. So inhale, big breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to exhale to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice long exhale. Now inhale to 6. And exhale to 7. Inhale to 7. Exhale to 8. Inhale to 8. Do your best as you start to get a little bit longer. And then we'll exhale to 9. Inhale to 9. And exhale to 10. Inhale to 10. And exhale to 10. And then just let your breath flow in and out naturally. So just notice when we start to go into those longer inhalations and exhalations, sometimes it's a little challenging to get the breath in, but it comes with practice, just like anything. But it's a really nice way to help us just connect with stillness and silence within. So I think my cat and dog are fighting. I don't know what they're doing. All right. Anyhow, let's continue on here. Let's get our, we're gonna come onto our hands and knees. We're gonna slide the right knee in front of the left. And then either sit back on a blanket or a block. So we're getting into Gomukhasana legs. Now, if this doesn't work for you, for your knees or your hips, you can take the top foot just out in front. So we're just trying to open up the left hip a little bit. So if this is too much, just you could just uncross the top leg. Otherwise, the right knee's on top of the left, and you're sitting up. You might even need to sit up on 2 blankets or 2 blocks. We're just gonna sit here for a couple breaths. Just breathe here. Lift the chest. You can just take your hands down by your sides, lift the chest. So we're gonna work on the lower back and the hips and the knees today. Releasing tension in the hips, knees, low back, which is kind of what we do every week. Just different ways of doing it. So let's carefully come forward. And we're gonna switch sides. So now we'll take the left knee in front and then sit back. So you might notice one side's more accessible than the other. So just kind of adjust from there. So again, you may need to just keep the top foot forward. You can even extend it or sit up a little higher on something. Sit up nice and tall. And just take your fingertips down by your sides, lift the heart. And you kind of notice how this feels. We're trying to get abduction and the legs, actually adduction, right? The outer and the inner thighs. And then let's come onto our hands and knees. And we're gonna take the legs out in front, just to give them a little break. So legs out in front for Dandasana. Extend the legs, take the hands by your hips. I'm the only one home, so this is what happens when I'm the only one home. Sit up nice and tall. Molly, you can go to your place, bud. Go to your place. I know. Lift the heart. Now let's draw our toes toward our shins. So we're kind of pressing through the heels. And even here, we're going to get the internal rotation of the inner thighs. Lift the heart. And then carefully release. So we're going to come back onto our hands and knees. And we're going to take the right knee in front of the left again. And then sit back. On your blanket, on your block. This time we're going to find our strap. So the right knee's on top. Then we're going to take our strap, take it over the left wrist. And we're going to reach the left arm up, bend at the elbow. Take the right arm out, and then we're going to reach around behind and find your strap. Draw the bottom hand down and the top hand up. So lift the chest. It doesn't matter how close your hands get right now. Right now we're just opening up the chest. So we're going into full Gomukhasana pose. A lot of times we just do the upper body here. Anything will work for a strap, a belt, a tie, really anything you can find. Lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. Try to get the left arm up towards your ear. And then we'll switch sides. Come on out carefully. We're going to come forward. And then we're going to take the left knee in front. Sit back, and don't forget, you can always uncross that top leg. Now we'll take the strap around the right wrist. We're going to reach the arm up and bend the elbow. And just bring the elbow a little closer towards your ear. So you can help it along. Even turn your tricep toward the front of your mat. The left arm extends up, thumb down, and then reach around behind and find your strap. Pull up and pull down. And just again, notice how this feels in your hips and your knees even, and in your inner thighs. And we want to always keep the chest open and lifted. And then come on up. And we'll take the legs back out in front. Come back to Dandasana, extend the legs, flex the toes towards your shins, lift the chest, fingertips are right by your hips. The gaze is just down your nose. Now if this feels okay, you can stay here, or maybe you can reach your arms up and overhead. Keep the shoulders down away from your ears. We're still flexing the feet, drawing the toes toward our shins. Take the shoulders back and down. And then slowly come on down. Take your legs around just to one side. We're gonna just make our way onto our backs. So you can keep your blanket, your straps nearby, maybe even blocks, whatever you have for your props. They're always handy. We're gonna lower down onto our back. All right. So take your legs long. And just like in Dandasana, we want to press through the heels and draw the toes toward our shins. So really getting the activity through the legs, even feeling the quadriceps engaged. And then reach your arms overhead. Now hook your thumbs together. Lift the chest. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, press through your heels. Reach through your fingertips. Feel the side body lengthen. Inhale, just let everything go. And then switch the grip of your thumbs. Exhale again. Press through your heels. Reach through your fingertips. Nice long side body stretch. Inhale, release, switch your grip. Exhale, press and reach. Inhale, one more time, switch your grip. Exhale, full body stretch. Really feeling this to the sides. And then release. So just bring your hands down. You can just place them on your belly. Take a breath here. Keep the left leg long. And keep it like a Dandasana leg. So we're still pressing through the heel. The toes are pointing straight up. We're going to hug the right knee up. Hug it in. Flex both feet. Take your left hand onto your right knee. And we're going to take the knee over to the left. And the right arm can extend out. Now the left toes are going to turn over to the left. That's fine. Inhale. Press through your left heel. Exhale. Go a little deeper into your twist. Inhale, lengthen. You may need to pick up your left shoulder to get the right shoulder down. And then exhale and twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Now carefully bring your knee up and just let the foot float to the edge of your mat. All right, other side. So keep the right leg long. We're going to hug the left knee up. And we'll take our right hand onto our left knee and take the knee over to the right. Left arm will extend out. You want the left shoulder down, so that might mean to pick up the right shoulder to get that left shoulder down. Inhale, press through your right leg, and then exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more time, inhale. Exhale, nice deep twist. Inhale, bring your knee up. And then let your leg float to the edge of your mat. We're going to go with our breath this time, flowing through that one breath, one movement. So we're gonna inhale the right knee up and exhale into our twist. Inhale, bring the knee up, and then we exhale, float the foot. Inhale, left knee up, exhale, twist. Inhale, bring the knee up, exhale, float. One more time each side. Inhale, right knee up, exhale, twist. Inhale, bring your knee up, exhale, release. And other side, inhale, left knee up, exhale, twist. And then bring it up, and exhale, float. And just place the foot down carefully. And just stay here for a breath. Now we're going to take the right knee back up and clasp around your shin. Press through the left foot, nice and long, toes pointing straight up. And then we're going to take our forehead toward our knee, hugging it, everything in. Pressing through that left foot, hugging it in. Now, if this is too hard on your neck and shoulders, you can keep your neck down, your head down. And then we'll release and switch sides. Left knee hugs in. We're going to take our forehead toward the knee. Press through the right leg. Dandasana leg, just like before. We're flexing those toes toward the shins. We're engaging the quadricep. And then release, so we're going to flow with our breath again. Exhale, right knee up, forehead to your knee. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, left knee's going to come up. Inhale, release. Exhale, right knee up, hug it in. Inhale and release. And exhale, left knee comes up. And inhale and float. And just place the foot down, and again, just stay here. All right, so let's take our strap again. And we're going to take the strap, bend the right knee. We're going to take the strap around the top of the heel. And we're just going to use both ends of the strap. Some of you, I know we do a loop every now and then, but today I'm just going to use this because I know some of you don't have a buckle on your strap. So I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to put the heel, we got the heel above our hip or further away, right? So we don't want to bend in the knee. We want to be able to feel the stretch through the whole back of the leg. So flex your foot, toes towards your shins, and then lock the shoulders down. Left leg stays extended and active. Lock the shoulders down. We're just going to hold it here. Supta Baddha Krishnasana. So you want to be feeling this in the back of the leg. Now we're taking the right thigh away from our head. And then we're taking the low belly up toward our chin. Keep the chest lifted. Keep that energy in that right leg. We're pressing that right thigh bone away. And we're pressing through the left leg. We're even trying to get that left inner thigh toward the floor. So imagine your left pinky toe is pointing up. So we don't want the foot splaying out. All right, bend your knee. We're going to switch sides. So switch over to the left, around the top of the left heel. And you can loop the straps around your hands. I like to do that. I feel like I get a better grip. But that's just a preference. And some of you might just use the loop on your strap as we've done in the past. All right, so same thing. We want this leg straight. So if your knee's bending, take it back farther. Flex both feet. Take your left thigh bone away from your head. And then take the low belly towards your head. And lock the shoulders down so your chest is lifted. Right pinky toe points up. So notice that my right foot really wants to splay out to the left, just automatically. So you got to kind of focus on it, taking that right pinky toe toward the sky to get that internal rotation of your inner right thigh. Then we're pulling down on the strap as we press our foot into the strap. So really opening up the hamstrings, waking up the back of the leg. And then bend the knee. We're going to switch sides. We're going back to the right. Same thing, we're gonna take the strap right over the right heel, the left leg goes long. But this time we're gonna take both ends of the strap into our left hand. We're gonna take our right thumb into our right hip crease. Keep both feet flexed. Now we're gonna lock that left shoulder down to keep the chest lifted. And the right thumb in the right hip crease is now gonna press that right thigh bone away. So we're helping it along. When we were doing it isometrically before, now we're using our hand to get a little bit more open in the hips. And then the low belly draws up toward the chin. So we're still pulling down on the strap and we're pressing into the strap. And we're opening up in the hips. And breathe. Go back to your breath. And then bend the knee, remove the strap, we'll switch sides again. So back around the heel of the left leg, the right leg goes long, both ends of the strap or your loop comes into your right hand. Lock the right shoulder down, flex both feet. And then we're gonna take our left thumb, put it in that left hip crease and push the left thigh away. So right now the heel's just over the hip. You lock that right shoulder down. Keep your chest lifted. And take the low belly up towards your chin. And breathe here. As you push into your strap and you pull into your foot. Again, just feeling that opening in the back of the leg. And now release. We're going to come back to the right. Both ends are going to come back over to the left. Left leg goes long. Right thumb into your right hip crease. Flex both feet. Lock that left shoulder down. So now we're going to take an inhale. And as we exhale, now we're going to take our right heel over in line with our left shoulder. So just to the left shoulder for right now. Okay, and we're going to use that right thumb to continue to push that right thigh bone away. Flex through the left foot, left toes point straight up. It's a parade. Hi, guys. All right, now you can stay right here. Or if you want to take this a little bit farther, you can take your right arm out to the right and then take your right leg over to the left a little bit more. So you're going to go deeper into the outer edge of your leg, into your IT area. Go with control, because this can be pretty intense. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I definitely feel this. I'm the IT band. I feel it in my calf, in my glutes. Just go where you can go here. If it's too intense, come back up just over in line with your left hip. Breathe into this. Keep the chest lifted. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, bring your leg up. And we're going to remove the strap and switch over to the left. So take your right leg long. Now we come back over to the left, both ends of the strap into the right hand. Right leg goes long, left thumb into your left hip crease. And then we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, take our left heel just in line with the right shoulder for right now. So just across our body. Flex through the foot, both feet actually. We want to take that right pinky toe straight up. Lift the chest. And notice what's going on here. Even here, that left thumb is pushing that left thigh bone away. There's a lot of activity, right? You're even feeling it probably in your calf muscle, even just across your body. So this is getting into our adductors, the outer edge of the leg. Now we're going to take it a little deeper if you'd like. You can stay here, Or you can take your leg over to the right. Just go where you can go. You've got the strap, hopefully, to control where you go with this. Your left hip can pop way up. So some of you might be able to take your left foot all the way over toward the floor. Some of you, like me, I can't go that far. And this was the side where, if you got my email, this is the knee that was injured in my ski accident the other day. So I really feel it on this side. All right, let's take a breath in. And then as we exhale, bring the leg up. And we're gonna remove the strap from that side, take that leg long. All right, now we're gonna go back to the right one more time. And this time, both ends of the strap are gonna come into our right hand. Now, I like to do this. You can do this. You're welcome to do it with a block or a blanket, or you can even grab a pillow. Put it on the outside of your right hip. Left leg goes long. Now we're gonna take our left hand under our left hip bone. We're gonna focus on keeping that hip from popping up. Take a breath in. And as we exhale, we're gonna lower the right leg out to the right. Keep the foot flexed. So now you're really gonna feel this in your adductors in the inner thigh. Pull that left hip down toward the floor. Keep your chest lifted. And notice how this feels. The inner thigh as compared to the outer thigh. Send your breath to any of those places that might feel a little tight or sore. And be gentle. If this is too much, bend your knee. If it's too intense, back it off a little bit. And then the longer we hold these poses, the more we kind of get into the connective tissue and the fascia. Let's take a breath in. And as you exhale, bring your leg up. And then you slowly remove the strap. If you use something under your hip, bring it over to the other side. All right, then we take the strap over to our left. Both ends of the strap into our left. Right leg goes long. Right hand on your right hip. Flex both feet. Chest lifts. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to take that leg out to the left. Right hand stays on your right hip bone. Chest stays lifted. Press through both heels. Notice one side from the other even. How does this inner thigh feel compared to your other one? You may notice no difference at all. Flex through the feet. Really press through your heels. One more breath. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring your leg up. Remove your strap. Take your leg long. And you can put everything over to the side for right now. Straps, blankets. Just notice how your legs feel right now. Just gonna notice the right from the left. Lots of activity in our hips. All right, we're gonna continue on. We're doing the hip series, as you guys, most of you all know. So let's bend the right knee and bend the left knee. Okay, so both knees are going to be pointing up. Now lift your hips slightly, take your tailbone towards your heels, and then lower back down. Just get that length in the low back. Now we're gonna take the right foot over to the right, and the right heel drop in toward the left foot. And you can stay here, or maybe take your left foot onto your right thigh. All right, now we check our alignment. So we want to make sure our right knee is in line with our right shoulder, and then we lie all the way back down. So if this is too much with your foot on your thigh, just take the foot off. The other thing you can do is put a blanket or a block underneath your right knee if this feels a little intense. You can also, if your foot's on the hardwood floor like mine is and it's uncomfortable, you can put a blanket underneath your foot. But you don't want your heel up by your hip. That's a different pose. That's a different, that would go into the quad. So we want the right heel in line with our right knee. So it's a 90-degree angle. Then you can take your right arm overhead, take a hold of your right wrist with your left thumb and forefinger. Inhale, keep the chest lifted. Maybe gently pull on the right wrist and maybe even drag your left heel down your right thigh. So we're getting right into that quadricep, into the psoas, nice long line, right up to your right wrist. And then uncross, place both feet on the floor, bring your knees back up. And we'll switch, slide the left foot over, the left knee will drop in towards your right foot. You kind of check in here. If this feels okay, stay here. If it feels a little easy, maybe you can take your right foot on your left thigh. It's gonna deepen the pose. It's gonna make your left hip pop up probably even more. And then we check our alignment. Make sure the left knee is in line with your left shoulder. Then you can take your left arm overhead, take a hold of your left wrist with your thumb and forefinger, and get that nice big line from your left knee up to your left wrist. Going through the quads, into the psoas. And breathe. Again, you can always put a block or a blanket underneath your left knee. You can always remove your foot from your left thigh. And most of you have been doing these for a long time, so you know what you need. And then we're going to uncross, bring your knees up. So now we're going to go external rotation. That was internal. External, we'll take the right knee over to the right. And the right foot will kind of just tuck in behind the left heel. And maybe take your left foot onto your right thigh and let that left knee drop over to the left. Or you can take your left heel in front of your left shin and let that knee drop over to the left. Flex both feet. And then you can reach your arms overhead. Hold on to your opposite elbows or even hook your thumbs together. It's what works for your shoulders. Lift the chest. Come back to your breath. Draw your navel in and up on your exhalations. Stay here for a couple more breaths. Make any adjustments you need to. If this becomes too intense, then reposition your foot. You can always just take your left leg straight. All right, let's bring the legs back up, knees up, and we'll switch sides. So the left knee will drop over, and we'll slide that left foot behind the right heel. All right, and then this is where you can check in. Stay here with your right foot. Maybe take your right heel in front of your left shin. Maybe right foot onto your left thigh. Arms can come overhead. Hold on to your opposite elbows, hook your thumbs together, or even just take them wide. Again, whatever works with your shoulders. You can always keep them back on your hips too, if that's not working for you today. Come back to your breath. And then let's uncross. Take your legs straight, bring your arms down by your sides for just a breath. Notice again how that all feels. All right, let's hug the knees in. We're going to roll over to one side and then make our way up onto our hands and knees. then you can come up, find a block or a blanket. Now, if you don't have a block or a blanket or Virasana doesn't work for you, you can do this as a lunge. So let me go through the first variation and then I can demonstrate. So the block would come underneath your sit bones. And then I will take my right. We're going to take the right foot forward. Okay, so we're going to work on the left quadricep. So if this doesn't work for you, or you don't have a block, or you might need to go higher on your block, you can come forward onto your left knee and come into a lunge. So what we're working here is this area right here. Okay. In fact, let me face this way. All right. So I'm going to do it as Virasana. We're going to take the right foot forward, and then we're going to lean back onto our hands. So it's going to deepen the stretch right here. You're going to feel this. And once you get into this pose, we're going to lift the tailbone just slightly off the block, draw the belly button toward our chin, and lower back down to create a little bit more length here. Draw your shoulder blades together. So you can stay right here. This might be enough for all of you. Just feeling that stretch right through the quads and getting into the psoas. If you know, if this is easy and you know, you can go onto your forearms, remove the block, and then lower down onto your forearms. Okay, I'm not going to do that because this knee is not liking that today. So I'm going to stay here. Again, it's my injured knee. So if it feels okay here, but when I went down too far, I really noticed a difference. So kind of, listen to your body. And that's exactly what yoga is all about, right? We always have things that are going on. So some weeks you might be able to go all the way down on the floor in this pose. And then some weeks you just kind of modify it. So listen to your body always. Let's take one more breath wherever we are here. And then we're going to carefully come up, back onto our hands and knees, and we'll switch sides. So sit back onto the block or go into your lunge. And then we'll take the left foot forward. We're going to lean back. And we're going to lift our tailbone slightly. Take our belly button up toward our chin and lower back down. Again, you're going to feel a little bit more length in the right quad, getting into the psoas. And then if you want, you can remove your block. I should be okay this time coming down onto my forearms here, because this side's fine. So I'm going to stay here. Some of you might be able to go all the way down onto your backs. Just, you know what you can do here. And breathe into it. We're opening up. We worked on the hamstrings. Now we're working the front of the legs. A couple more breaths. And then slowly make your way back onto your hands and knees. Take your knees wide, bring your toes together. We're going to take our hips toward our heels and come into child's pose. Extend your arms out nice and long. Take your tailbone towards your heels. If you need to, you can always put a blanket between your thighs and your calves. Now walk your hands over to the right. Walk both hands over to the right. And once you get as far as you're going to go, you can take your right hand on top of your left, just to kind of anchor it down. Feel that nice stretch through the left side. Walk your hands back to center and then over to the left. And then once you get as far as you can go, you can take your left hand onto your right. And then walk your hands back to center Now, slide your hands under your shoulders. Come onto your hands and knees. Take your tailbone towards your knees. Push the floor away from you. Look up at your belly button. Tuck your chin into your chest for cat pose. Now turn your tailbone toward the sky. Broaden across your collarbones. Maybe reach the crown of your head up. Let's flow through cat-cow a couple times at our own pace. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling to cow. One more time. So the next time you're in cow pose, keep your tailbone tilted up like that. We're going to turn our toes under and lift into downward facing dog. With our knees soft. Keep your heels up, knees soft. Take your chest towards your thighs. Look at your knees. And then take your hips a little bit higher. And then straighten your legs. You can press through one heel and bend the opposite knee. Really feeling that stretch through the back of the leg, and then switch. And just pedal through that a couple times. And then now look at your hands. Walk your feet and your hands toward each other. Come into a forward bend. Stay here for a couple breaths. Keep your knees soft. You can hold on to your opposite elbows or let your arms dangle. Let the crown of your head fall heavy toward the floor. Take a breath in. Take a big loud breath out. And let's do it again. Breath in. Big loud breath out. One more time in. Big loud release here. Breath out. Take your hands onto your hips and come all the way up. All right. So we're going to do down dog again, this time with a chair or maybe a couch or something. My cat's here. I think I can work around her. I'm going to put it on the mat so it doesn't slide. This is Lily, everyone who doesn't know Lily. All right. I'm going to use my chair, Lily. All right, so we're going to lean forward into our chair or our couch or maybe even some blocks. We just want the arms a little elevated this time. And we're going to come back into downward facing dog. This time we can press our heels down into the mat. So we get a little bit of lift in the front part of the body. So blocks will work here as well if you don't have a chair handy. We do use chairs quite a bit in here lately. So if you have one around, it's good to have it handy. So you can just feel it. I'm using the blocks here. It's just as good. I'm able to get my heels down. So that's the idea, is to press the heels a little closer to the floor. Couple more breaths. Maybe even get a little bit length through the side. And then walk towards your props. And then your hips come all the way up. All right, so we're going to use the blocks or the chair again. I'll start with a chair. We're going to come forward. This time we're going to take our right foot forward, left leg back for pyramid pose. So again, it can be blocks. We do it a lot with blocks here. That works just fine. Or you can use a cute kitty. All right, now we're going to take the right hip back and the left hip forward. Now pick up your right toes and really press down through your toe mound. And draw that right hip back. And then press through the left heel. Lift the chest. So we're not leaning forward, even on our blocks here. Draw that right hip back. Left hip forward. And then carefully come on up. We're going to just come up to standing, take a breath. And we'll do that the other side. Left leg's going to come back. We're going to come either onto our chair or our blocks. Left leg forward, right leg back. Draw your left hip back, press your right hip forward. Now pick up your toes and really press through that left toe mound. Draw that left hip back. Yeah, you got it. Either way, hands on the chair or it's really what the target area is right here. So as long as it feels good, whatever you have handy, and again, it should feel that big stretch in the front leg. A couple more breaths. All right, and then carefully come on up. Step your feet together. Take a breath here. Okay, so now we're going to work on warrior one. And there's a couple options. If you have a wall nearby, you don't even need a full wall. You could use just something where you can put your foot. Let me demonstrate, but there's other options. So we're going to take our left heel up the wall, and we're going to take our right foot forward. We're going to start with our legs straight, wobbly. And then we'll go into warrior one. So big stretch right here. Now, if that doesn't work, you can just keep your heel up in the air like this. So but if you have a wall, let's try it with a wall. And then the right foot forward. All right, now we're going to square off our hips, bend the right knee. So really feeling this in the quadricep again. A lot of work in the front of the legs here. So we're going to bend the left knee, lift the chest. Now we're going to bend the left knee just a little bit more. And then without a lot of movement, we're going to straighten it, kind of press that heel into the wall. And then we're going to do that 4 more times. Bend the left knee and straighten. Do that again, bend. I'm hardly moving my body at all. I'm just moving this back leg. 2 more, bend the knee and straighten. And 1 more. And you're pushing that heel into the wall, really feeling that stretch here. And then carefully step forward. Take a breath and kind of notice one leg from the other. So really opening the front of the leg. So we're going to set up for the other side. Right heel's going to come up your wall. Left foot's going to come forward. So square off your hips. Lift the chest. And then we're going to bend into the left knee. So that we want the left knee over the ankle and the quadricep parallel to the floor as much as we can get it there. All right, once we're set up, bend your right knee and then straighten it. And let's do that again. Bend and straighten, like you're pushing your heel into the wall if you're using a wall. Bend and straighten and bend and straighten. And I lost count, so let's do 1 more. Bend and straighten. And then find your balance, step in, just come to Tadasana. Take a breath. All right, so let's come back into down dog and just kind of wherever you want to go with your hands on your chair or your block. Straighten and stretch that out. You can even use, if you have a full wall, you can use your wall here just to get a big stretch. Use your breath. Okay, so we're going to go a little deeper into, or come on up, come from down dog, sorry about that. So we're going to go deeper into the quads. So we've done this before. There's lots of options here. So option 1, I'm going to start with the wall, but we can do lunges, we can do chairs, and I'll show you each option before we go fully into the pose. So we'll be under our hands and knees. And let's slide the left knee back. I'm using the left because it's in front, you can see. The left knee's going to come back and see how my foot's going up the wall. Then I'm going to take my right foot forward, and I'm going to take my hands up onto my right thigh. So if you don't have a wall, you can use the chair or your couch. So the same idea here. I'm going to take my left foot up my chair, and then, or a couch, and take my hand up on my leg. Or you can always roll over to one side like this and take a hold of your foot. You're going to still get that stretch, okay? So those are the options. Now let's, I'm going to use the wall for the first one. Maybe I'll use a chair for the second. So let's come back onto our hands and knees. And we're going to slide the left foot, the left knee, onto our block or blanket, actually blanket, something soft. And the left foot's going to come up. You can always have blocks here too. Sometimes that's helpful. All right, now I'm going to take my right foot forward. All right, so kind of check in. This is not always the most comfortable pose. We've been opening up the quads, but if we've got tight quadriceps, this is a little more challenging. So maybe you can bring your hands up onto your thigh. If not, use your blocks. Some of you, not me, may be able to bring both arms up overhead. Go wherever you can go. Your quads will tell you what you can do here. We're going to hold it here for a couple more breaths. So just breathe into it. Maybe even just one arm can reach up. And then we're going to come down very carefully. Maybe just slide your knee away or make our way back onto our hands and knees. Okay, so we're going to switch to the other side. So I'll use the chair on this side to demonstrate. So you can use a couch or a chair. So same thing, we start with on our hands and knees, and we take our right foot up the chair, step the left foot forward. Maybe have your blocks here, or you can bring your hands onto your thigh. And again, notice how this feels as you breathe into it. And maybe you can reach one arm, maybe some of you can reach both arms overhead. Maybe this side's a little easier. This side's a little easier for me. So I can take both arms up. And you can even hook your thumbs together. Or you're in a lunge, or you're on your side. Wherever we're getting that big stretch, right? Getting into our, So I have a note here that if your back hurts when you're doing this, it's a message that you need to open your front even more. So all this stuff that we're doing today is really good for the low back, and that's why we kind of do a lot of this with the hamstrings and the quadriceps and the psoas. So let's come on out of this, come on back into your hands and knees, take child's pose. I'll just let that all sink in. Yeah, big stretch there. So as you take child's pose, really kind of notice the hip creases too, right? We've really been opening up in the psoas area. And then slowly come on back up onto your hands and knees. Bring your knees under your hips. Let's turn our toes under. Come back to down dog. And you can pedal your feet again. And you notice how that feels as you press your heels toward the floor. Walk your feet towards your hands. Take your hands by your side. Come all the way up. Back to Tadasana. All right, so we're going to do Warrior One again. This time, we're going to use our blanket or a pillow or whatever you have handy that you can put your heel up. This way it'll be supported. So same thing, we're going to take the right foot forward, left foot's on the heel or your prop, your support. All right, right now the front leg is straight. We're going to square the hips off. And then we're gonna bend into the right knee. So we wanna bend into that right knee where we can really press down into that left heel into our blanket. So you're really feeling this stretch through the back leg. Right knee bends. This time maybe arms can come overhead for warrior one. Take the shoulders down away from your ears. And then even here, we're gonna bend the right knee slightly and then straighten, press that heel into our prop. Bend, the left knee. Bend the left knee, straighten, bend, press your heel into your blanket. Two more, bend, straighten. Try to keep that left shoulder forward, bend, and straighten. Take your hands down, step forward. Come to Tadasana. Take a breath. All right, now we'll step the right leg back onto our blanket or pillow. The left leg's gonna come forward. Keep the left leg straight for right now. Hands can stay on your hips. We're gonna square off our hips. And then we'll bend the left knee. So when you bend your knee, you're gonna start to feel that big stretch back in the right leg, right? You can stay here with your hands or maybe reach your arms overhead for full extension of warrior one. And then we're gonna bend the right knee just slightly and then press the heel into your support. Bend the right knee and straighten, bend, straighten. Let's do that 2 more times. Very little movement, just really feeling the back quads working. 1 more. Press that heel into your mat or your blanket. And then bring your hands down. Step forward, come back to Tadasana. Take a breath here. Lots of work in the legs, right? We're really opening up the hips, the quads. So let's take our legs wide on our mat. Bring your block in front of you or your chair. If you don't have a block, you can use a chair. So in your home, you can make lots of stuff into your props. Okay. So let's keep our hands on our hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart. So our feet are in line with each other. We're going to draw the kneecaps up into the quads, keeping our quads super active. Hinge forward, so really hinging from the hips here. Keep the chest lifted, and then take your hands down onto your block. Draw the kneecaps up. Really root down through the soles of your feet. Now you can stay right here, or maybe you can start to go farther. You can start to take your hands back in line with your feet, and maybe you can rest your head on your support, on your block. And don't worry about it if you can't. And there's 3 heights to a block. So if you want to play around with that, otherwise don't worry about it. Just go back to the position we started in. Root down through both feet, really pressing both feet firmly into your mat. Now, if your hands are in line with your feet, bend your elbows and then imagine there's a beach ball between your elbows and you're hugging into that beach ball. Keep the legs active. Draw the kneecaps up. And then walk your hands back out. Heel toe your feet in. Take your hands on your hips, come all the way up, and let's step our feet together. Then come back to Tadasana. Okay. So let's take a big inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Now exhale, take your elbows in line with your shoulders. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Take your low belly up towards your chin. Now that'll take your elbows down even closer to your ribs. So just opening up through the chest a little bit more. Inhale, reach your arms back up. Exhale, let's take an easy swan dive forward and step back to downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Maybe pedal your feet or wiggle your hips. Getting a nice big stretch through the back of the legs. And then come onto your hands and knees. And roll back over onto your buttocks. Find your strap. We're going to lower back down onto our backs. So just carefully make your way down. Hug your knees into your chest. Take a breath here. Just going to rock side to side. Find your strap, and then we're going to take our strap around our feet. So we're Dandasana legs. So we're back to Dandasana, right? Our legs are straight, our toes are flexed, the straps around the heels, and our chest is lifted. So imagine we were doing this at the beginning of the class, right? We're sitting with our legs extended, chest stayed lifted. This is a great way to release our back. So just stay here, press your heels into your strap, pull the strap into your heels. Now we're going to take the legs a little wider. So you have to lengthen onto the strap, take the legs wide. Same thing though, keep the feet flexed, lift the chest. Pull down on your strap and press into your strap. Basically doing this just before, right? When Prasarita, Prasarita. Keep the chest lifted. And carefully just bring your knees in, release your strap. Put the strap over to one side. Hug your knees in. Place your feet down onto the floor. And then take your right ankle over your left thigh. So you can stay right here, gently press your right leg away, or you can lift your left foot up and we're going to slide the right hand through, clasp behind our left thigh. Flex both feet, and then gently draw your left knee towards your nose. Gently press your right elbow into your right thigh, and then maybe even take your legs over to the left slightly to deepen that stretch into your right glute. Lift the chest. We'll hold this here for a few breaths. Use your breath. The more you take your legs slightly over to the left, the deeper that goes into your piriformis. Let's carefully bring the legs up. Release, switch sides. So the right leg can stay on the floor, and you can just gently cross your left foot over your right thigh and gently press away. Or you're going to pick up the right foot, slide the left hand between your thighs, and we're going to draw the right knee toward our nose. Use your left elbow to gently press that left thigh away. And then to deepen this stretch, you can take your legs slightly over to the right, just finding that sweet spot in the piriformis, in the glute. And right into that big muscle. And then let's bring our legs up, uncross. Place your feet down. Take your feet wide, so the feet are at the edges of your mat. Just let your knees drop over to the right. Just stay there for a breath. And then bring them up into the left. And just flow through that at your own pace a few times. Just going from one side to the other. We did a lot of work. And then the front of the legs today, the hip flexors, the quads. Just kind of loosening this all up. Bring your knees back up. Let's bring our feet together. Take your arms out to the sides. Let's take our hips slightly over to the right and just take your knees over to the left for a gentle twist. If you'd like, you can look over your right hand. Any twist that you like. And then bring your knees up. We're going to switch sides. Left hips come over to the left and take the right knees, or both knees over to the right. And you maybe can look over your left hand. And then bring your knees up. Let's hug our knees into our chest. Take your forehead to your knees. Give yourself a big hug. And then we're going to find Shavasana. So after what we've done today, one of the nice ways to go into Shavasana is to use your chair, your couch. And I'm going to disturb Lily. You can take your legs. Now, ideally, my legs would be together, but she's here. She doesn't seem to mind. So you want your legs up nice and just so your knees bent and they're completely supported. So there's no effort. And then you can just take your arms by your sides. Now, I would also suggest maybe putting socks or a blanket over you, or putting your sweatshirt back on, or any other Shavasana you want to go into. Like you can roll up a blanket and put the blanket underneath your knees. You can just bend your knees and touch your knees together. As long as you're warm, cozy, and comfy, right? So we don't want to have to worry about anything. In Shavasana, we want to just be able to completely release and let go. So I'm going to watch the time, and I'll ring the chimes 3 times when it's time to come out, and then I'll guide you out. So just scan your body right here and see if you're still holding on to anything. Send your breath there. See if you can let that go. Relax your fingers, relax your toes. And then just let your entire body melt into the earth beneath you. You can begin to awaken your body. Start bringing movement into your fingers and your toes. Deepen your breath. Maybe reach your arms overhead. Get a big stretch. Maybe yawn. And then carefully make your way over to one side. Just take your time. Stay there for a breath or two as you make your connection back into your day. Take your time and then come on up nice and slow to a comfortable seated position. You can keep your eyes closed here. Once you're up, just notice how you feel. Just check your body. Notice how you feel since you got on your mat this morning. And then throughout the day, check in every now and then. See how you're feeling from the effects of your practice. Let's take our hands to our heart center. Take a moment right now to think of something that you're grateful for. It could be anything. It's really easy once you kind of get into a habit of a gratitude practice. So that's our meta moment for today, for this week. Think of at least one thing a day that you're grateful for. Sometimes you can even think of 3 or 5, but it's a nice way to realize how much we have and all the things that are just so wonderful in our lives. And I'm so grateful for all of you for sharing your morning with me, with all of us. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. You can turn off mute or turn off mute.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Sorry about that little problem this morning. I'm glad we worked it out. I knew you guys would keep trying. So I was never worried. I was worried.
Thank you, Karen.
Really
I can
worried.
tell you were worried.
I was worried.
I'm so glad we got to do it.
Yeah. I was like, what are we going to do? But I knew we had, if we started late, we started late. So no matter what, we'd make it work. So